Haiti, from Arlington, Texas, hot Tillman summer continues. Adjuman delivers again. The United States top their group. We are perfect. Well, we're not quite perfect, but we're into the quarterfinals. 3 straight wins. Not going to lie. This was a tough watch at times tonight. 90 minutes. I think there was a belief and hope and surging optimism for this short-handed raw American squad. What the Olive Garden is to authentic Italian cuisine. But we won, which is the most American thing of all. USA 2, Haiti 1. Breathe America. Our nation's proud record of not losing at home to Haiti since 1969 lives on. We remain unbeaten in our last 22 Gold Cup group stage matches. Don't come at me with the flat track bully crap, okay? All right, you can come at me just a little bit. World Cup, 354 days away, and I'm honoured to break it all down with a man who has played 142 times for the United States, scored in 3 straight World Cups, a gent who the fairly singular Bruce Arena once said, quote, "He tried S-H-I-T. It's a joy to welcome back to Mr. Clint Dempsey."
What's up, Rog? How's it going?
Oh, Clint, I'm not saying my eyes are bleeding, but I'm not saying that either. Let me start with something lovely. I love being with you in Dallas last night. I just say you are so beloved. I met so many of your family and friends this past week, many of whom drove huge distances just to be with you. It's incredible experiencing the pride Texans have for you and the pride you hold for Texas.
Nah, for sure. It was good to see family and friends, and I just wanted to give you a shout out for making everybody feel so welcome. It meant a lot to them, man. And, dude, I'm having a blast, dude. We're going city to city. We're drinking some tequila, and we're talking about U.S. soccer. And, hey, 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, baby. I love how optimistic you are. Honestly, you lift my spirits in this time. I did one more on Texas. You spent a lifetime traveling, leaving home, missing real-life milestones. We've talked about it. Does it make you more aware of how special it is to be home with all those that you know and love?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially as you get older and you know it better than most, just the time with family is so important because it goes by so quick. And, you got to cherish those type of moments that you get to be with family. It's not like when you were younger and you see everybody day to day, so it's a little bit more difficult with travel. But, hey, that's what this life's all about, being around your family and the people that helped you make it to where you were.
Shout out to Debbie Dempsey, Double D, my favourite. We will break down this game in a moment. But first, let me just say, we are not here alone. This is a Gold Cup Do It Live, made possible by our great friends at Allstate, which means that you, dear GFOPs, can be part of this show. Come and ask us questions about this US team, this roster, this impending quarter-final next Sunday. Come and talk to us about what you saw in this game. Who lit up your life? Who moved you? The optics of the stadium. How did you feel about it all? You can also throw in your questions about fishing or hunting or life. Here's how. Just scan that QR code in the top left of your screen. It'll take you to a Zoom with our intrepid producer, the mighty Tony. He'll get you set up to ask your question. Come and be with us. It's audio only. Slap your comments into the chat. We'll read the best ones out. Give us a like, subscribe, all that crap. You know the drill. A chat, I've got to say, thank you. Bringing the optimism. Daha Master says, I goat. LOL. Yes, Adji goat, I think it is. That's quite funny. Aaron Wilson says, Quinn Sullivan has that dog in him. We will talk about Quinn in just a moment. Noah says, once again, Tillman, man of the match. I think we should play all the Tillmans. Bring in his brother. To tonight, our team already qualified for the truth-telling time of the knockout rounds. We knew there would be changes. We talked about that last night. Rest up some players, see some new guys in new positions. We had that cyberpunk John Tolkien in, Big Brother Aronson, Quinn Sullivan, a.k.a. Cavan's elder brother, in the starting lineup, along with my friend Tyler Adams, who I love. We wanted to see some hunger, wanted to see some desire, wanted to see who would step up and carpe diem, who would seize the day. Let me ask you this. Was this game important? Mentally, we'd qualified. The result mattered tiny bit. We needed a point, I think, to be group winners. Do you believe, I guess I'm asking, do you believe in momentum? Is there such a thing fatigue.
sure.
Go on. How does it work, Clint?
For sure.
Explain.
I mean, especially as an attacking player, like it's all about getting back on a wave, right? When you're in a drought, you're not scoring. You get a goal, then you get another one. I call it like riding the wave, and it's the same with win streaks, right? And losing streaks. When we came into the tournament, 4 losses in a row, and then we've switched it around. Now we have 3 wins in a row. It hasn't been the most beautiful soccer being played, but at the same time, hey, they're getting the job done, and there's been some bright spots. For me, Tillman, Ajiman, in terms of his goals per game, he's still raw, but he gets chances and he puts the biscuit in the basket. So happy about that. But yeah, unfortunately, we conceded a goal. The way that we did was not the best, but yeah, there's still some bright spots out there.
Well, let's break all of this down. By the way, thinking about this US squad going into this, going head to head, God, as I said, US soccer can't catch a break with Game 7 of the NBA final. This squad is essentially to the US men's national team what the G League is to the NBA. We are watching a development version of our US team, and Poch is looking for his version of Alex Caruso. You know, a player who, you know, even in the mix can show that they belong, demand to be in the big dance. Not just the young players, by the way, but Tyler Adams, who has been so dominant last season in the Premier League. But the injuries that kept him out have also meant he's not really had too many chances to show up and show out for Mauricio Pochettino. And so, within 23 seconds of this game, possibly a little overeager, possibly a little too hungry to prove himself, he went right through Duckin's Nanson, yellow card. What was that, Clint?
I think it was just setting the tone, just sending a message early. At the same time, I think it showed his maturity, the fact that he was able to get a yellow and then manage the rest of the game and stay under control. But you talk about it being the G League team. I still think there's plenty of players in here that get into the starting lineup with our best team. I think Tim Ream is still there. Chris Richards is still there. Tillman's knocking at the door right there. Tyler Adams. And you can't really deny Ajiman right now. Even though he's raw, his goals per game is up there, and that's what you need. You need people who are scoring game in and game out, and his goal per game ratio is the best.
You are completely right. There are some foundational players in this team. Definitely Chris Richards. I mean, Tyler Adams, I think, is thinking about something more than just the starting position. I think he's, ultimately, we've talked about this a couple of times on this show, the captaincy.
Yep.
We've talked about this in England. The English obsess about who is the national team captain. In other cultures, like in Italy, it's often just the most capped player. But in the United States, I do think in this moment this matters because this is such a raw unit of players. There's so little experience. There's so few evident natural alphas. And I know Tyler yearns to be the captain of this team. First time he came into my studio, age 17, as a kid, he made it clear that what he dreams about is captaining his nation at the World Cup. He did so in 2022. I spent a week in Bournemouth last March. All the players there, Patrick Kluivert was going off about what an incredible leader he is, the man who should be captain of the Bournemouth team. From the inside, as a former captain yourself, what do you know that we don't that should shape how we think about who should be the United States captain?
I think it's one of those things, it'll find you if it's meant to be, right? Like you can't go looking for it. All you can control is being the best leader or best teammate and trying to help win as many games as possible. And if the coach sees that is the position he wants to give you, then that's what's up, right? For me, it didn't really matter per se. That wasn't my goal to go out and become captain. It was to go out and score as many goals as I could, get as many assists, help this team win as big of games and try to win trophies for my country. And then that's something that came with it, right? So I think that just kind of needs to be the mentality, right? There's more important things than being the captain, but if you show week in and week out, you stay fit and you're doing the business, I think it's one of those things they'll find you.
So into the game, Haiti, what are they, 83rd in the world? They needed a win. I had to get help from the other game too. They attacked. A little bit like a bar fight who's just steaming in with wild swinging punches. He actually created a couple of chances early, a couple of crosses into the Kenny Loggins danger zone. But they did, and we talked about how they would leave themselves wide open. And the United States were pretty much their first coherent attack think it was Adjuman, fed Aronson, who first had his chance snuffed out, but then recovered and unfolded quite a stunning poem of a cross. Haiti defending, it's got to be said, was woeful. I think two of our boys at the back post had a chance to get completely undressed, start bollock naked if they wanted, completely unmarked. But Malik Tillman,
what a
3
finish.
goals. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, to go back across the goal, it was like Assassin's Creed Shadows level of clinicality, Clint.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was almost like slow motion kill, like what you're talking about. Great ball in. It looked like the chance had kind of went and gone, like what you saw in the other game with McGlynn when he crossed it to Tillman as well. But yeah, great ball in from Harrison, who needed that assist like a fish needed water in terms of showing that he's someone that can be counted on. And then for me, it was just a great finish to go far post, the placement of it, to control his body. And Tillman, he was someone that he has that quality in him, and you can see he's starting to grow in each of these games. 3 goals now in the Gold Cup, and looking to continue that tally as we go into the knockout rounds.
Super cunning finish that. Most people would possibly try and head it down right near post to go back across the keeper. I mean, that is confident.
Yeah, it's almost like a changeup, right? It's coming across, and he's just guiding it back to the far post. And the way he was able to control his body and the placement of that finish, I mean, it was great. You talk about the defending, it wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, great cross in, great finish, and had us up 1-0.
So happy as you sound for Brendan Aronson. My God, he needed that. He was left out of the Nations League squad, struggling to earn the nod to start in this moment. To be able to show that he can kind of wield a dagger, it must have been such a relief and a joy for him. Commentary team, I'm putting this on you because they started to talk about how we wanted this US team to now go and show that we could be relentless and merciless. So, of course, we just went and completely crapped the bed. I want to get your take on this. Tim Ream, God bless, incredible human being. I think he did his goalkeeper
that was a tough ball.
There. Yeah, I mean, talk about it was a tricky bouncing back pass that he drove at the keeper.
No, for sure. If you're going to pass the ball back, you need it to be rolling on the ground. But at the same time, if you're a keeper that's getting a certain type of ball back to you, as you say in England, you got to put that in row Z, right? When in doubt, kick it out. So Freeze will feel that was a mistake, and they'll both take a little bit of credit on that. But after having 2 clean sheets and not having to do much, that's not what you want to do in this third game. But at the end of the day, we were able to get the other goal, get the 3 points.
I love you. That moment.
Glass half full.
I know, always, which I like. I'm trying to hope it rubs off on me in this moment. I mean, you saw there, you smashed the ball. They've clearly been training at playing the ball out the back. I've seen him, Matt Turner, when he played for Arsenal a little bit too. He would get caught occasionally in 2 minds, the natural inclination to smash it out. But when you've been coached, no, we play the ball out the back now. And he kind of did neither. It was on his left foot too. He tried to play it to Tolkien, coughed up possession instead to Dom Lucius, who just lashed home. I was like, oh my God, is it time for us to try and find another Matt? Next Matt up, But here's what I wanted to know from you. In the NFL, I spent some time around kickers and punters, and they said, because no one really knows what we do, because we're kind of different to the rest of the team, if we miss a massive field goal late in the game, like no one on defense, no one on offense, no one has any sympathy because no one understands what we do, what we go through. And I wondered, a goalkeeper is also such a different role to the outfield, particularly the attackers. As an outfield player, honestly, can you describe your emotions on the field when a goalkeeper mucks up?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, that has to be the equivalent of missing a penalty or missing a breakaway or a wide open chance. Everybody's going to suffer in silence and kind of be, mulling that over, that what went wrong in that situation. They'll watch the highlight, they'll look at it again, figure out a way to correct it. But at the same time, I mean, every player on the field has those moments where they're going to feel those type of things. And for me, it's comparable to, like I said, missing a penalty, missing a breakaway, or having a wide open chance and not making a goal.
I am old enough to remember the days when we were known, when we were renowned for our goalkeeping. Oh, nostalgia overwhelms me. But talking about the past and wonder. I mean, by and large, this was a tough watch, ponderous going forward, very predictable, very sterile. I think it didn't help that AT&T Stadium, 80,000, was so sparsely populated, made everything just feel lesser. Haiti, God bless, were CONCACAF in the best of ways. They were frenzied. We couldn't live with their frenzy for spells. Watching this first half, kind of just, I mean, I don't know what you think about this. I wondered what was going through the mind of the players who didn't report, the players who were not there, the players who were not chosen. To some degree, Poch needed these players to step up. He dreamed of getting fresh, impressionable replacement players and having them be hungry, having them be, moldable, having them be a fierce collective. The fact that they were so tepid, doesn't it kind of increase the leverage of the players that are not there?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the players are in and having the opportunity, not taking advantage of it. It's definitely helping the players who are playing week in and week out in Europe for sure. But at the same time, I mean, it's one of those things. There's still more games to be played. We're getting into the knockout rounds, bigger opportunities to do something. I think there's going to be more excitement around the games. Hopefully, more fans will show up and we'll create a better energy. But like I always say, you got to create your own. And yeah, there was moments in the game where there was some skill. You saw a Rabona cross from Sullivan.
That was like watching 2025 era Clint Dempsey at Furman College. That Rabona.
You got to try SHIT like we talked about, right? He was able to beat his man a few times and get crosses off. I mean, from him and Aronson, I would just like to see a little bit more creativity in how they beat their man. Whether it's like a drag scissor or whether it's a step over or whether it's a fake cross cut back, just mixing it up, right? How you beat somebody, where you want to take them line, where you cut it inside, kind of keep them guessing. I like to see more of those type of things, but hey, they were causing problems. They both got something out of the game. They were both dangerous in their own regards. And like we talked about, Aronson got a huge assist. Tillman was man of the match, and Ajiman continues to do what he does, is raw, but he figures out a way to make goals, put the ball in the back of the net.
Let's get to your man Ajiman, because second half there was a flashed Haiti free kick parried by Matt Freeze. The US continued to play it out the back with all the confidence of a baby giraffe taking faltering steps. A lot of Chris Richards and Tim Ream knocking it backwards and forwards. Not a lot of runners in the midfield, a lot of backwards passing. I do think if we find it hard to play out the back against Haiti, that's not so great. But it was open. Haiti had to get the win. I think Saudi Arabia scoring an equaliser meant Haiti had to go for it, left them ever more open, particularly as they got more gas down the stretch. Malik Tillman had 2 goals chalked off. We wanted a hero, and we found one. I'm not going to lie, it was a bit dark. We've talked about Ajiman. We've had you right, leaving camp due to Achilles injury. Damien Downs not dressed because of his own injury. You and I talked yesterday about whether he thrived because of the confidence of being a lone option, a.k.a. the man, or whether he really needed a competition to drive him on. I don't know what you thought of his performance overall, but we do have to say hats off. 75th minute, latched onto a Tolkien pass, I think it was, from a quite tight angle. Rolled the ball home after rounding a keeper. Huge moment for him. I think he is so raw, a work in progress. There's no doubt he's dividing opinion amongst the fan base right now and in the chat. But what do you make of him, honestly, Clint?
Well, I mean, he gets chances. He gets chances every single game. Every single game you watch him, he gets opportunities to get goals. His goals per game ratio is up there with the best in terms of how he started out. Yeah, he's a little bit raw, but he fights hard. He presses. He does the dirty work. He holds people off. He brings other people into play. I think he's only going to get better, right? So, I mean, there's still so much potential there for him. And he's the one that's kind of helping leading the way with Tillman right now in terms of the goal production rate. So, looking forward to seeing how rest of this Gold Cup plays out. 2
comments from the chat which kind of capture the polarization of Ajiman. David Meyer, good evening to you, sir. In the chat says, Ajiman with 5 goals in 9 games. He's not your prototypical well-polished forward. That's why some folks are flummoxed, but you can't deny his goal rate and how his size poses headaches for defences. Baransky, meanwhile, says, Ajiman, really 4 goals. I know he gets credit for Luna's, but no skill or effort of his went into that. His passing accuracy is bad. He's indecisive. He's not fast when he needs to be, etc. I was actually watching with my eldest son, who said that Adjiman looks like an Everton striker. He kept calling him American Beto, which I just love. But if you look at our depth chart right now, and once again, Clint Dempsey will tell me 5 goals in 9 appearances for the US is quite good. The depth chart, Balogun, Pepe, Josh Sargent's going to be in there, maybe not. Damien Downs still floating around. Hadji Wright, obviously. Yep. Where's Adjiman for you right now?
I mean, he's got to be up towards the top, if we're being honest, in terms of his goals per game ratio. But if you're talking about like a true striker and what he can give you, for me, even though this player has been hurt a lot and hasn't been into camp, I like Balogun. What I saw in Copa America, his ability to shoot with both feet, create his own chances, get on the end of things, the pace that he has. There was just a lot of quality there for me. He has a great first touch. But he's been hurt. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's what are you doing lately? And right now, the man who's doing it for us is Adjiman.
We talked about the striking depth chart. I think you know what I mean. He is pushing for that third slot, that third striker slot. You could make the case just as a raw, game-changing prospect. He's not going to be our starter. But that third slot, which Hadji Wright actually took, a late surprise arrival in 2022, it could be.
So Raj, who would you say? Would you say Balogun, Pepe, Adjiman? Like, what do you mean? What would be your top 3?
I know you love Balogun. I mean, you should say why, because one of us is an elite goal scorer, and one of us is, just a man who just bald and wears glasses. I love Ricardo Pepe. I love him as a human being. I love him as a finisher. So I would like to think, and obviously both have suffered with terrible injuries. So again, you can't control that either. But Poch clearly does not want Josh Sargent in this squad. It would be very, very... I don't know how he brings him back. He's got so many of those quite political problems, some of his own making. I adore Hadji and see him as a very versatile footballer. But, Adjiman as that kind of wild card third player, you could make the case. How do you see it, Clint?
No, I agree with you with exactly what you said. I mean, you can't deny what Sargent was doing for Norwich in England. I mean, he was on fire. But I think the weight of the jersey, for some reason, when he comes into camp, it just doesn't work out for him. I don't know. When's the last time that he scored in a U.S. jersey? He has all the ability to be that number 9, but for some reason, I don't know why, but when he has that jersey, it seems like it's too heavy for him. I would like it not to be the case because of how well he's played at Norwich. And for Hadji Wright, it looked like it was going to be an opportunity this Gold Cup to kind of fight with Adjiman for that spot, and we were looking forward to seeing that fight and see who was going to emerge as the number 9, and we weren't able to have that because of the Achilles injury. So I agree with you. Those are kind of the top 3 guys. I think Balogun, Pepe, and Adjiman right now, unless something changes.
Shout out to the great Daryl DK also, who, God, I just wish a healthy run. On only great things for. I think Josh Sargent's last goal for the USMNT national team was in 2019, which is just so hard to fathom. We've talked about the strikers. Do want to touch on midfield quickly. Stu Holden asked a great question late on. Who would you pick in midfield in the squad between LDLT, Sebastian Berhalter, Tyler Adams, and Johnny Cardoso?
I mean, that's a tough one to pick. I mean, for sure, Tyler Adams goes in there, and then it's what are you going to have in terms of, are you playing a 2-3-1? How many people are you going to play in the midfield? If you're looking for service, Berhalter has shown that he gives you that service on set pieces. I'd like to see a little bit more from him through the run of play. Luca Della Torre, he's someone that is able to find those passes and go forward. So that's kind of a tough one for me, really, to pick who is the person that's going to go alongside Tyler Adams. But definitely Malik Tillman. He's showed that he's the man that that needs to be underneath that striker and have that freedom to roam. And then it's figuring out, is it Aronson? Is it McGlynn? Is it Luna? Who are your best guys to kind of be wingers and create for you?
I want to get to GFOP's questions in 1 second. It ends 2-1. Pochettino, 8 wins. 5 losses in his 13 games in charge now. I must say, watching him on the sideline doesn't exude the face of a man who's really enjoying himself in this moment. But 3 bloody wins, top of the group. We go to the quarterfinals next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Could be Mexico. Please don't be Mexico. Could be Costa Rica. A very good football team. A fascinating test for us, depending on the result of the game to come. But a modicum of momentum, I think you can say, overall. You've nailed it for me. 4 losses was an agony. Straight home losses for the first time since, 1988. Historically bad. To replace that with a inarguable run of 3 straight wins is a great thing. The quality of the play there. If you were a player, this is really the answer to this question. I do not know. Would you focus on the wins, or would you focus on the mediocre quality of the performance and dwell on that? How would you feel about the evidence of the first 3 games? Honestly.
I mean, I think Pochettino's feeling like how you and me feel in terms of watching the game and wanting more. If you're a player and or coach, I think you're happy that you got, maximum points from the first 3 games, and you're back to a winning culture. But now figuring out how we can win in a more exciting way, right? You talk about fans being in the stadium. That's what you need to have them want to come be in the stadium, right? So we need to figure out a way to be better in attack, more dangerous, more creative, and more exciting to watch. So it's a balance, right? Because if you lose, it's like, what are you doing wrong? And if you win, it's that, sometimes you have to win ugly, but why can't we win beautifully? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we win and dominate?
With an idea, coherent idea of football executed. I mean, you've hit upon it, so we should talk about it quickly. I'm sick of talking about it. I actually find it so profoundly upsetting. I mean, AT&T Stadium is a huge stadium, 80,000 seats. It's a cavernous arena. The optics of it looking sparsely populated, I'd say, were not good. But a year out from the World Cup, we're in Austin, a stadium that has been sold out 80 straight times for its MLS team and was gapingly empty for the US team. I mean, you've nailed it. Like, if you play exciting football, they will come. It reminds me, as I think about it, I went back to the statistics for that 2010-2014 era that you experienced, and the United States fan base bought the most tickets for both of those World Cups outside the host nation.
That's
for
crazy.
Brazil, they brought 200,000 Americans bought tickets.
Wow.
The American Outlaws had 18,000 members nationwide fly in from over 140 chapters. These statistics are startling. I remember those days when I believed that we will win, rang out all over Brazil. It really did. We charmed the world with that fan base. And I can only ask myself, where's it gone? Where's that gone?
I mean, 2018 didn't help. And then it looked like things were going to get back on track. And Copa America, CONCACAF Nations League, those 2 failures, the 4 games in a row losing. And then now things are starting to get back on track a little bit, but you don't have your best players in the team. People want to see the best players possible. Also, you can't price out the working class from going to games. There's no way, if you're a family, you got 2, 3, 4 kids, there's no way you can afford to go to these games. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true. I mean, it's priced like as if football is a mature sport in America with a huge demand, as opposed to right now we need these tickets to be priced, as you say, for working class families, but also for growth in general. Yeah. If you're a kid right now, this is what I've been thinking about watching the Club World Cup. Would you rather be an experience? Would you rather go to sit with Boca Juniors fans, or even with the Japanese team, Aurora, and just bounce up and down with them, or would you rather sit in a very empty AT&T Stadium? We've made this problem for us. It's unfathomably high. It's crazy.
You want to be around people who are passionate because it is contagious. You know what I'm saying? You want to be around people that have the love for it like you do, and that kind of showing you the way, like how to support your team, right? So, man, it's sad because you need a mix, right? Just on a team, you need young and older players. In a stadium, you need the youth and you need the elderly. You need everybody. You need a mix of everything because it's experiences. You talk about it, right? You remember moments where you were for certain games, certain goals, and every Thanksgiving, Christmas, special moments with your family. You sit at the table and you talk about it. You need more of those moments.
It's true. I'm going to sit at Christmas and turn around to my kids and say, would you remember where you were when Diego Luna smacked the ball in off Adjiman? It was amazing, son. Very quickly, we're not setting the world on fire. We're not creating highlights that will create new fans, but we are winning. The knockout round will be the moment of truth. We now have nearly a week off, which is amazing. But anyway, I want to get to the list of the questions, but one thing I think many of us who've never been on an international team do not understand about your reality as an international footballer. It can be bloody boring when you are stuck in camp with no games for a week.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to become a master of killing time stuck in that hotel for long stretches. Can you just describe that for us, Clint?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where the most importantly is you're trying to get the treatment that you need so you can be on the field and play at 100%. You got to find good shows to watch and things to kind of take up your time, whether it's, playing a Nintendo Switch or playing chess. Actually, you know who taught me chess? Eddie Johnson from Bunnell, Florida. Like, seriously, bro. I never played chess before, and then Eddie Johnson, of all people, taught me how to play. And we used to play chess as roommates and stuff like that. So you do anything, right, to pass the time. Play cards, play Jenga. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? It's all about like everybody going to the training room, talking trash.
You'd gamble on Jenga.
Yeah. Whether it was Charlie or Mo or Josie. Yeah.
Gambling on Jenga.
Hey, you always can gamble your per diem, right? It's money you didn't really anticipate coming in. So that's what a lot of guys say. Hey, some people, they would play paper, rock, scissors for their per diem.
Oh my God! I mean,
I was too tight to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm tighter than the ears on a frog. Boy, I'm watertight. People will tell you, but some people would do that.
Oh, we're gonna do a whole podcast on competitive betting on Jenga, but we're also going to get to your questions. Reminder of how this works here on YouTube Live: just scan the QR code top left of your screen, click the pinned comment in the chat. Tony, our magnificent producer, will get you on. Let's blow through these beauties and then go and watch my beautiful friend TJ McConnell in the NBA final. Start with the mighty Aryan. Tell us where you're from and what's your question. Aryan, unmute, baby.
Hey, you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Over. Tell us where you are, and if I butchered your name, did I butcher your name, Aryan?
Yeah, but like I'm used to it. It's
Arjun. How should I if I wasn't a rude, bad human being? What would I?
You good. It's Arjun.
Arjun, LA, beautiful. Where you from, man?
I'm from Cleveland originally, but I'm from San Antonio now. And I was gonna ask, for you guys, what do you guys think about the team overall? As like, how is it? Has it improved or has it stagnated since those disastrous like UEFA team friendlies 4 games ago? Like, well, how would we fare if we ran them back right now? And what do you think that means for like the next games against hard opponents like Mexico and Costa Rica or Canada even, because I'm not trying to get embarrassed by Canada.
That's such a good question, man. By the way, San Antonio, I would love to do a live show in that city. That is one place in Texas I have never been that I would adore coming. And when I do, you will be my guest, Arjan, and you can tell me.
Of course.
I can apologize to you in person. It's a great question, Clint. I mean, we got humiliated. We've gone on this 3-game winning streak. I love the question. If we played them back, would anything be different in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think possibly we could have got some out of the first game versus, how you say it, Turkey. I always said Turkey, so I don't want to mess it.
That was sophisticated.
There we go. Yeah, I'm up with the times. You know what I'm saying? I think probably we could have got something out of that game. That was a close game, but if I'm being honest with you, the Switzerland game, there was just too much quality there for us to deal with. I think we need some of our best players in camp that are not here at the moment. But I like at this team, like finding out who they are in terms of where they are in the Gold Cup. 3 wins in a row. They've grinded it out, and we'll know more about this team to answer your question better, like you said, in these knockout rounds, playing against teams like a Costa Rica, Mexico, or Canada, right? So I'm looking forward to see how they step up to that challenge and if they're able to get it done.
I mean, Clint, Arjen's asking a great one though. Is it that nothing has changed? It's just that the level of the opposition has dropped, so we look better.
I mean, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but the level of the opposition is not what we saw in those 2 friendlies, if I'm being honest, right? And if you want to see where you're at, you got to play against better competition. And like what Arjun said, that's Costa Rica, Canada, and Mexico.
And they're coming. They are coming. Arjen, if we played Switzerland tomorrow, what would the score be in your mind, baby?
So I'm not gonna lie, I think the only thing that we have better right now is our chemistry and a little bit of defensive cohesion more than. But again, those Switzerland, but the world class players. So I'm not gonna lie, it would be like 3-2 or 3-0, maybe one.
Oh, 3-1. Come on, give us a goal. Come on, give us a goal.
Yeah, you get one off of like a corner or a free kick.
There we go.
There you go. I'll bite your arm off for that, baby. That's progress. That's where those are the mountains that we're headed to. The mountains of progress. Arjan, it's a joy to be with you, you gorgeous human being. Next one up. It's the mighty Brian. Unmute, Brian. Tell us where you're from and what's your question for the mighty Clint.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm Brian, and I am from the greater Los Angeles region called Claremont, little town east of there.
I know it well. What a beautiful part of this world. What is your question for the mighty Clint?
I wanted to ask, has Malik Tillman worked his way into a starting lineup position for the World Cup? And because we've given him quite a bit of chances where he has underperformed in the past, but now in this tournament, he's doing very well. And could we possibly give that same grace for somebody like Johnny Cardoso, who is going to be performing at a high club level here soon? And I would just love to see that in the starting lineup. What do y'all think?
I mean, I agree with Tillman being a shout to break into the best lineup that we have. We talked about it earlier in terms of who is the best center midfield pairing with Tyler Adams. Is it Cardoza or is it Luca De La Torre or Berhalter? I think that spot is still open. But from what I've seen from Tillman, I like the way that he started this game better than the last game, and the quality just in the finishing that he has and the quality. See that first touch that he had on the ball from Tyler Adams when he had to bring it out of the sky and then flicked it over the keeper. I mean, he has everything that you need, but also he's working hard. He's getting stuck in. He's doing it on both sides of the ball. So for me, of all the people, that stand out, like we said before, I mean, from that are in this camp that break into that starting lineup that are or knocking at that door, it's Richards, Ream, Adams, and Tillman, and possibly Ajiman.
I think it's really fascinating, Brian. I do hope that. I hope this is the legacy of this Gold Cup journey, that Malik Tillman establishes himself as a dominant. I mean, ultimately, in our head, and this has been part of our problem because the players know it too, that there's fixtures in this team. I think when we talk about some of the complacency that's set in, there's players who just know they're going to be on the starting team sheet. So if Malik Tillman can establish himself as a threat to some of those, not just that, but he's shown up, he's come when the team needed him, and that bond that he's developing with Pochettino, where Poch actually looks at him when he's thinking of all of his options, this is my guy. This is my guy I can trust. He can deliver. Clint, you've marveled at the quality of his finishes. Some of the play in open play, there's been periods where he has drifted out of games, which I think is ultimately the one question mark that we've got about him in this moment. But if you watch him week in, week out in the Dutch league, he's a phenomenal footballer. The idea of Malik Tillman right now is probably the most exciting part of this Gold Cup journey so far.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, what you see from Tillman and the confidence that he's starting to get from 3 goals in the first 3 games of Gold Cup, knowing that the manager trusts him, and you're starting to see that more in his play. Maybe that's what he feels when he's playing for PSV and the Eredivisie, and how well he's able to do there. That's starting to translate here for the U.S. team. So if he can continue improving the way that he's doing and to keep a high level of intensity from the start to finish, because I kind of can be the same way that he was, right? I can kind of start a game slow, kind of feel your kind of way into it. But definitely, you get him in dangerous areas. He's trying things. He gets stuck in. He works on both sides of the ball, and he has that quality. And you're talking about people that their stock is going up the most. I think it has to probably be him.
I want to blow through the questions because people have been super patient and there's been a bunch of them. I want to try and get to all of them. Sam, I don't know if you're there. Sam from Phoenix. Oh, what a city. Can you unmute because your question's a beaut?
Yes, I'm here. And I just want to briefly say at the beginning, Clint Dempsey, I saw you score on Boxing Day, a last-minute equalizer at Stamford Bridge with my brothers. It was one of the best moments ever.
Yes, sir.
Anyways,
That's
my
by the way,
question.
Sam, you are living out Clint's point that is what we want: goals, action, memories being made. And I love that you've now come on and just dropped that. It's like genuinely the joy of my day in every regard. It's like art following reality. So thank you, you beautiful man. It's been amazing.
Of course.
I just say traveling around with Clint, watching people come up to him and talk about, as you just did, the moments, the joy, all of that. That's what we want, man. We want more. We want more of that, man, more than I can say. But what's your question?
All right. My beauty of a question. I've joined the Diego Luna Cult Hero fan club, and I just want to know, a lot of guys that make their move to Europe, just like you did, which of the 5 leagues, or I think maybe even the championship, which do you think is the best fit for Diego Luna if he makes the move?
That is a great question. It depends on what you want to do and what are your opportunities that you have available for you. But if you're going there to develop, I like playing in Portugal with an FC Porto, or going to like Eredivisie, playing for like a PSV or an Ajax. If it's going to play in the best leagues in the world, I think there's not many leagues better than the Premier League from top to bottom. In terms of style, I would have loved to play in La Liga. I never got that opportunity. But you see, Bundesliga and Serie A are strong as well. But yeah, it just depends on the player and the coach and the style. And it's one of those things and who wants you, right? So those would all be options in terms of my mind. But for me, I wanted to play at the highest level. When I got the chance to go to England, play in the Premier League, hey, sign me up. Let me test myself.
Diego Luna playing at Wrexham, Sam, would just be, honestly, chef's kiss. I love your idea, though, the cult of Diego Luna. We've got to start that, Sam. We're all members, right?
Yes, and thank you both. I think maybe his touch, Spanish league, just seems right, but I don't know enough to know.
You know what? I mean, when Clint said that, it got me nodding too. Diego Luna in La Liga would be a thing of wonder. Him testing himself, him developing his game in a remarkable way. I mean, I adore him. I adore his mentality as well. There's still a lot of rough edges, but my God, the idea of this cult of Diego Luna becoming a thing, coming out of this Gold Cup as well, alongside the Tillman narrative, would actually make it an incredibly productive Gold Cup for our nation and could be game-changing. Huge love to you, Sam. Treasure your memories. They are the most important thing. We're going to take 2 more very quickly. Oh, Steve, are you there, you king? Tell us where you are and what's your question.
Howdy, thanks for having me. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. And
it's Arizona night on the Juice.
Well, part of that is going to lead into one of my questions for Deuce. Is before that, I wanted to just say, of course, I've been a fan like many for many years, and what I think is a good sign of respect is that so many of your national team colleagues, even the elder ones from the '90s, they habitually refer to Deuce and they talk about the apex of U.S. national team forwards. And I listened to Alexi, I listened to Hark, Samiola, and I just think it's a great testament to the fellow national team players when they talk about your skill, your creativities, and when they have the fight and the dog from Nacogdoches, Texas. So just wanted to give a shout out that I hear often from a lot of your colleagues.
No, I appreciate that, and shout out to them for paving the way. they crawled so I could walk.
Yeah, sir. And I wanted to get to because you talked about the attendance, and I know it's painful to watch, and a lot of your perspectives are really they make sense. And I want to get your take on the quarterfinal doubleheaders because I'm gonna go to the I got tickets. My fiance to take her to her first professional soccer game ever. We're gonna go, but they're having the doubleheaders here in Glendale, and I just haven't seen that being a successful model when they've done this here in tournaments in the U.S. And I just don't understand that perspective. And maybe you can provide a little bit of insight about why they do it, but I just don't think it's optimal to get butts in the seats. And we're going to go for the USA game. We might stick around just a little bit unless something crazy happens and they play Mexico, maybe stay for the second part of the Mexico game. But if you could touch base on that, your perspectives, I'd like to hear it because it just doesn't make sense from the people I've talked to or heard from that these double headers are really the optimal way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it must be a financial decision for them to. You're only still having to rent out one stadium for the day, maybe. I think Raj would be better to answer that question. But at the same time, if you are a player or a team playing in the game, you'd want the later game when everybody's there. They've already kind of got like when you go to a concert, you got the first people come on, and then you got the main act. You want to be the main act, and when you're not the main act, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? You're going to feel a certain way about that, but you still got to go out there and perform and create your energy, like what we always talked about. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. If you're not the main act, you want to be the last game where all the butts are in the seats and you can put on a show, but.
Clint, you were at the Nations League, the semi-final.
Yeah.
I mean that was really painful. Yeah, I mean the US played in SoFi to a truly empty. So it was a Panama game. Too soon. But it was truly empty. And we have a number of reasons why. The unfathomably high cost of tickets. In this tournament, we listed all the incoming on our. That we get in our email, mostly the unfathomably high cost of tickets, the absence of the big name players. I think the mediocre runner form is probably third. But in LA, people saying it's LA, people don't want to come and watch. It's the traffic, it's very expensive, it's a Thursday night, whatever night of the week is. And then Mexico played in the second game, and within an hour, so I mean, it was electric, Clint. It was
night and day.
Oh my God, it was. First of all, by the way, it was awe-inspiring. It was to be in that stadium when Mexico took the field, the noise.
You know what's been impressive is the fan base of Mexico. When they've gone through the tough times, they still have shown up in the past, right? And now they're getting paid back for it, right? The way that they played in CONCACAF Nations League, the way that they're playing, in Gold Cup, and I got to commend the Mexican fans for how they go out there and support their team.
It is an agony. I find it really, if you've watched like 2010, 2014 when our fan base was building, all I say is, I think since speaking to someone in US soccer this week, and they said, honestly, do we think we have created one extra fan since 2017? And they're like, probably the answer is not. And this is where we are. Like, we can do this. We need to mend fences between this team and its diehard fan base to turn this thing around.
Well,
I think.
I also, to your point, I think you have to have players that the fans can relate to, from all walks of life, right? People have to see themselves in the player and say, that's someone who I could chill with. That's someone where I'm from that I played pickup with. That's someone that I like their style, right? I think that's another thing. That's another dynamic that you need in terms of players that are representing your country. They got to feel like you're one of them.
Hence the cult of Diego Luna. Last question of the night from the mighty Bjorn, long time GFOP on this show. Bjorn, remind us where you're from, unmute and fire away with your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Raj. And hey, Clint. This is Bjorn. I'm from Alameda, California.
Welcome back, baby. What's your question, man?
Yeah, so, these last three games, we're playing Trinidad and Tobago, which is admittedly two countries, but, the Saudi B team and Haiti. And it just feels like the guys out there are scared to attack. We seem to be prioritizing possession over attack. It reminds me of that the Gareth Southgate England team, where they just pass around the horseshoe and really pad the possession numbers, but we're not doing the thing. And I just wonder, Clint, you were a guy who did stuff. What would you tell these players?
Well, I think you got to mix it up, right? The way that I looked at playing was every time you did something good, something simple, win a ball, play a simple pass, is like putting money in a piggy bank, right? And then when you wanted to, take that money out and go buy you something to try something crazy, you needed to have a balance, right? So I make a few good little simple passes, I win a few balls. Hey, now I got license. When I don't have anybody to pass to and I got space to drive, I'm going to go and I'm going to take a withdrawal out and I'm going to go spend some money. So that was kind of my mentality. You had to earn the right to go try SHIT, like what Rod said earlier. So I would like to see a little bit more of that. We saw some of that tonight with Sullivan, with the Rabona cross and being a player and whipping in some crosses, getting some shots off. Aronson, I'd like to see a little bit more from him in terms of not always going to his right foot, maybe beating a player line or taking a line to get a cross up and then set that when you come back into the right side, it's more open to kind of get a shot off. But yeah, that's how I looked at it. You had to do some good things to earn the right to go do something that you wanted to do.
We're gonna get that strong man ripping the phone books in the in the locker room again before we change. I've got one last question for you before we close tonight. It comes from our producer. It is a question I've often wondered about. Jaleesa Castrodale, massive Liverpool fan, wrote to me. She said, "I'd love to know how close Clint was to joining Liverpool in 2012 because Brendan Rodgers, then Liverpool manager, really wanted to get rid of Jordan Henderson for him. It was supposedly such a done deal that even Fenway Sports Group, own NESN Broadcasting Network, mistakenly reported that Clint had joined Liverpool for their North American tour that summer." Clint, how close were you?
I mean, I was pretty close, if I'm being honest with you. It was a situation where it was going to be a trade for me and Jordan Henderson, and whether or not he wanted to come to Fulham or not. It wasn't going to be a situation where they're looking to spend a lot of money. I think they were kind of playing a little bit of money ball. I think they've already spent a lot of money on Jordan Henderson and Andy Carroll. So they were looking to try to figure out a way for someone who was a little bit older. Maybe it made sense to be more of a trade. I think I would have fit their style, or more so Brendan Rodgers style, because I was an inverted winger, right? I played on the left. I'd come in on my right foot, kind of like what I did at Fulham. And it just, Jordan Henderson didn't want to make that change. Ended up being the best move for him. He ultimately won a Champions League and a Premier League, but it was pretty close to happening. It just wasn't meant to be.
My God, I mean, I'd just say you dodged a bullet is all I'm going to tell you. And next time on our show, which will come after the quarter-final, Clint will tell the story of how he almost became an Everton player. For reals, man, which is just like, my God, he told me this just before we went on stage in Austin, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I couldn't sleep that night. It's just like sliding doors. History could have been so different, but that is it for tonight as the US sails into the knockout seas of this Gold Cup. We'll continue our coverage right here on The Juice in the quarterfinals, semis, and God willing the final. Also, going to be with my mate Rory Smith this week to catch up on the huge stories in the Club World Cup, which is really, I mean, I would say it's heating up in ways good and bad. Check out our YouTube and our pod feed for all this content as our cups run over. Clint, you're back at home finally, going to get some rest. Get rest up easy. Play, and the doctor recommends, I think, daily rounds of golf.
Yes, I'm playing tomorrow, so.
God bless.
Yes, sir.
We cannot wait to hear a full report on the 36-hole diet, which you are going to be taking on tomorrow. That's it for tonight. Yeah. Juice returns after the quarterfinals. Come join us here on YouTube, where the passion is contagious and we're tighter than the ears on a frog. Until then, thanks to everyone who's joined us. Big love tonight. Thank you for your energy. You've really lifted us all. Courage.